Sri Lanka, which is enduring its worst financial crisis since its independence, is expecting the final approval from the International Monetary Fund for a $2.9 billion loan. The decision is expected to come out in the third or fourth week of this month. Sri Lanka's president, Ranil Wickremesinghe, has said that Colombo has completed all prior actions that were required by the IMF, and he expects the first tranche of the IMF package to be released within this month. Meanwhile, China's state-owned Exim Bank sent a letter to the IMF expressing Beijing's willingness to restructure credit to Sri Lanka. Wickremesinghe told Parliament that Beijing had agreed to a restructure and that the country expects to secure $2.9 billion in terms of a bailout package from the International Monetary Fund by the end of this month.
මහා බැංකුවේ අධිපතිතුමත් එකඟතා ලිපිය letter of intent අත්සන් කළා දැන් IMF සංවිධානයට යවලා තිබෙන්නේ. දැන් අපේ යුතුයකම් ඉටු කළා ඉවරයි. දැන් IMF සංවිධානයේ යුතුයකම් මේ මාස අවසන් වෙන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා 3 වෙනි හෝ 4 වෙනි සතියේ ඉටු කරයි කියලා මම බලාපොරොත්තු වුණා.
The IMF in September last year approved Sri Lanka's $2.9 billion bailout package over a period of 4 years, pending Sri Lanka's ability to restructure its debt with creditors by the end of June 2022. Sri Lanka owed nearly $40 billion to bilateral, multilateral and commercial loans, and the Chinese loans amounted to 20% of the total debt owed and 43% of the bilateral loans. Now, in an exclusive conversation with WION, Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister Ali Sabri sounded optimistic regarding the IMF bailout and thanked India for taking the lead in this process. Listen in.
Right now, we are very optimistic. So once again, India took the lead. There was a stalemate because there are two stages of an IMF program. If your country had been declared unsustainable with your debts, then you had to probably first restructure the debt or lay the foundation for that. So for that, what most important thing is the bilateral creditors. And the bilateral creditors must give you the assurances. So there was a stalemate for a long period of time, and then India came forward and gave that assurances the way IMF wanted. And Paris Club followed that. And China had given something, some sort of an assurance, but it is not compatible with the IMF, but we are still talking to them. So we are very hopeful that China will also, they have their own concerns, but they will also come on back on track.
And for more on this developing story, our correspondent Dasuni Athora sent us this report from Colombo.
With President Wickremesinghe now confirming that China has indeed sent in their assurances for debt restructuring, the entire nation is eagerly awaiting for the $2.9 billion deal to finally come through from the IMF towards the end of this month. Now, the statement and its after effects have been largely positive, with just hours after the statement being made, the Sri Lankan rupee appreciated against the US dollar. Times will be interesting here in Sri Lanka over the coming few weeks, with an entire nation now backing on hope and eager interest to receive a much-needed IMF bailout. Reporting for WION World is one from Colombo, I'm Dasuni Athora.